Hi there, I wanted to give you 2 or 3 quick tips on some simple changes you can make to a page in SEO to improve the performance of it in search results. SEO is often painted as a dark art, and like anything there are more complex and technical areas to it, but actually there's a lot that's quite simple and that you could do yourself if you knew where to look and what to do. So as an example, I've typed into Google corporate training days, and we see the first result is a featured snippet, which means that this blown up piece of text at the top comes from CTC courses corporate training days. And then further down, so this is kind of bottom of page 1 where the related searches are, and then top of page 2 where there's more ads. And we get to most of the way down page 2, so maybe position 17, something like that. We've got Dolomite Training, who are also ranking for corporate training days. Now, if I look at the two sites, this is CTC for their corporate training days, and this is Dolomite. And what I'm going to look at is 2 or 3 quick changes we can make to improve Dolomite's performance. Now, the first question you might ask was, how does Dolomite know that their performance could be improved? Well, the way to do that is through Search Console, and we looked at Search Console briefly last video. But what we need to do is use this filter down here on position for greater than position 10. And if we select done and then sort by number of impressions, what we can see is the search terms that we're ranking for beyond page 1 that get the most views. So for example, my astronomy website gets 6,500 views for solar eclipse 2023, but is only at position 14. So I know that Google really likes my website for that term, but not quite well enough to get it onto page 1. So what could I do to improve it? Similarly with Dolomite, if they looked in their search console, they would see that this page is ranking on page 2 for corporate training days. And what could they do to improve that and get it on page 1, and of course generate many more leads than where it is on page 2? So let's have a look at what they could do, because I know from my research that they could probably quite easily get onto page 1 with just a few simple changes. Let's look at the language to begin with, and the best thing that Google does is it shows us who is winning the top 1, 2, 3 spots, and we can look at those pages to see what we might emulate. Now this is the number 1 spot, and we can see that the main title is corporate training days. We can see that the second heading, the H2, is corporate training days, and we can see that in the body text right at the beginning, corporate training days is there as well. We've also got a variation keyword, corporate training packages, and that shows us that Google has decided this is a great page, in part because it's entirely focused on corporate training days, including the URL, which has it there. Now, Dolomite is going after something slightly different. They're not going after corporate training days, so I wouldn't expect them to be ranking number 1 for it anytime soon. And they do have the word corporate in the URL, which is a decent start, but corporate as the H1 doesn't really say anything at all. So when Google's looking at it, corporate is so bland and undefined, it's hard for Google to say, okay, well, what's this page about? So I would change that to something more relevant. Now, if they change it to corporate training days, that would be very specific. They might want to make it corporate activities in the Peak District, as this second heading is down there, and then change the second heading to corporate training days in the Peak District, and then add within the body copy something relating to corporate training days. They currently have team building and team bonding, but they don't have corporate training days at all. So that would deal in part with improving rankings. But there are some other issues that go beyond just having the ranking and increasing lead generation. So what could Dolomite be doing to improve their lead generation? Well, if we go back to CTC, the first thing we notice is they have very clear call to action. Book now. It's above the fold, so it's on the screen. Nobody has to scroll to find it. We also have a second contact us button that's very clear at the top of the page. Go to Dolomite, and no call to action. There's a contact here, but it doesn't stand out against any of the other menu headings. And there are no buttons above the fold saying contact us or learn more or any such call to action. So then there are trust signals. So there are no trust signals above the fold here. And a trust signal is something that says to the visitor, you can rely on us to deliver. Go back to CTC and we have reviews.io, 236 reviews and 4.8 out of 5 stars. So instantly saying, okay, these guys know what they're on about when it comes to training. And then finally, a couple of minor points to notice. So the favicon, that's this little badge emblem that's in the corner of the tab, that appears in the Google search results. So if I go back to Google, and you can see their emblem is here, this favicon is here. But Dolomite just have the standard WordPress one, so you're missing out on an opportunity to show people that you are a proper business with a logo. And actually they've got the perfect symbol here that they could be using. What we also see is CTC have got Corporate Training Days as their meta title, whereas Dolomite have got Corporate Dolomite Training, which is just a bit bland and not very well targeted towards the people that they're trying to get to buy from them. And then one other thing that I noticed with Dolomite is they have a blog, but it hasn't been touched since 2019. Now the blog, despite what many business owners think is a fantastic opportunity to build up those mid-funnel and top-of-funnel keywords which you can own, and then filter towards the bottom of funnel keywords, which is the Corporate Training Day page itself. So blogs is something I'll come back to in a future video, but opportunity there. So in summary, Dolomite could be a lot higher up in the search results than the position 17 they are now for Corporate Training Days. They'd need to focus on the titles of the page, the content of the page, and then when they were getting people to the page, they want trust signals, they want calls to action. And if they wanted to work further up towards the top 3 positions, say, of Google, then we'd be looking at a decent bit of blogging to support the mid and top of funnel keywords, and even, dare I say it, link building. But those are all discussions for another day. So out of everything you've seen today, which page on your website could you change in just a very small way to improve how high up Google search results you appear, and therefore how many leads you're getting in? Let me know in the comments.